The movie begins in 1964, when a young Ed and Lorraine Warren visit a small antique shop owned by a woman terrified that something evil inside her store caused her father's death. Lorraine, who's heavily pregnant, walks toward the back of the shop, drawn to a strange mirror carved with 3 human faces. Locals say this mirror holds a dark presence. The moment Lorraine's hand touches the glass, it cracks slightly and her reflection grins back at her with a sinister smile. Within seconds, terrifying visions flood her mind, and she collapses in pain. Labor has begun. Ed rushes her to the hospital, where doctors fight to save both mother and child. Lorraine still sees the dark spirit from the mirror hovering nearby, as if trying to reach her baby. For a terrifying moment, the baby doesn't breathe. Lorraine, in tears, begs to hold her child and begins to pray with Ed. Suddenly, a faint cry fills the room. Their baby is alive. Overwhelmed with relief, they name her Judy. Time moves on, and we see a short glimpse of their life as parents. Little Judy grows up in a home surrounded by strange energy. Frightened by the spirits she often sees, she runs to her mother for comfort. Lorraine teaches her a simple rhyme, the Lucy Locket verse, a charm to protect herself from dark entities that linger beyond the ordinary world. It's now 1986 in West Pittston, Pennsylvania, where we meet the Smurl family, Jack and Janet, their 4 daughters Heather, Dawn, Shannon, and Karen, and Jack's parents, John and Mary. The story begins during Heather's confirmation and birthday celebration. Her grandfather gifts her a beautiful antique mirror, unaware it's the same cursed mirror once encountered by the Warrens years earlier. As everyone gathers around the table to cut the cake, the celebration suddenly turns dark. A light fixture above them breaks loose, crashing down and injuring Heather. Blood trickles from her forehead as everyone panics. Soon after, a chilling message appears on screen. After decades of paranormal investigations, Ed and Lorraine Warren believed they had seen everything, until one case in Pennsylvania changed their lives forever. We then see Ed and Lorraine, now older, having stepped away from active ghost investigations. They spend their time giving lectures at a university, trying to live quietly. One evening, they meet their grown daughter Judy, who still seems haunted by dark energies. Lorraine notices Judy muttering softly to herself, almost as if she's whispering in an unknown language, a sign the spiritual world never truly left her alone. Back in the Smurl household, the strange events escalate quickly. While Janet is on a phone call, the cord suddenly jerks out of her hand and vanishes into the hallway closet. Thinking it's one of the girls fooling around, she checks, but the closet is empty. Moments later, young Shannon watches in horror as one of her dolls begins to move on its own, slowly lifting into the air. Behind it appears the terrifying face of an old ghostly woman, smiling wickedly at her. Screaming in terror, Shannon runs out of her room. Meanwhile, Heather and Dawn grow uneasy about the mirror's disturbing carvings. Convinced it's cursed, they drag it outside and leave it for the garbage truck. But as the mirror is crushed the next morning, the evil doesn't vanish, it strikes back. Dawn suddenly becomes violently ill, coughing up blood and shards of glass before collapsing. The family rushes her to the hospital, terrified, realizing something far darker has entered their home. Time passes, and we see Ed Warren at a doctor's office, getting some difficult news. The doctor warns him that his heart is fragile, another attack could be fatal. Later, Ed returns home where Lorraine has organized a small birthday party to lift his spirits. Their daughter Judy arrives with her boyfriend Tony, who she's been dating for 6 months. Father Gordon, an old friend of the Warrens, also joins the celebration. During the party, he quietly tells the couple that a family in Pennsylvania, the Smurls, have been reaching out to them for help, but since the Warrens are still on hiatus from paranormal work, they haven't responded yet. Meanwhile, Judy has started to show signs of inheriting her mother's gift, or curse. She's haunted by disturbing visions of Annabelle and the same hag-like ghost that tormented young Shannon at the Smurl home. Later that evening, Tony nervously asks Ed and Lorraine for their blessing to propose to Judy. Lorraine is delighted, but Ed worries the relationship is moving too fast. However, when Judy accidentally spots the ring, Ed smiles and gives Tony his approval. Tony proposes right there, and Judy tearfully says yes. Back in Pennsylvania, the Smurl family is trying to return to normal life, but the strange incidents keep escalating. The daughters are frightened, yet Jack, the father, refuses to believe there's anything supernatural happening. That night, however, Jack's skepticism is shattered. He suddenly levitates off the bed, frozen in midair, as if some unseen force is toying with him. Across the hall, Heather replays a home video from her birthday, slowing it down, and there, in the reflection beside her, is a demonic face blowing out her candles. Moments later, an axe-wielding shadow manifests and lunges toward her. Janet manages to pull Jack down just as chaos erupts in the house. Terrified, the Smurls decide to go public with their haunting. Their story soon spreads through local news, catching the attention of people and spirits far beyond their small town. Meanwhile, Lorraine takes Judy out to shop for a wedding dress. Everything seems normal until Judy steps into a changing room surrounded by mirrors. The air grows colder, she begins to feel trapped. When she looks down, she sees the horrifying hag ghost crawling out from beneath her gown. Lorraine and the store clerk rush in to find Judy collapsed on the floor, gasping and shaking from a panic attack. Elsewhere, Father Gordon, concerned after seeing the Smurl story in the news, decides to help on his own. He visits their house, prays with Janet, and blesses the basement with holy water. The liquid instantly hisses and steams upon hitting the steps, confirming a presence within. He later visits the Diocese of Scranton to plead for assistance, but before he can deliver his message, that same demonic entity follows him there. Overwhelmed by its influence, Father Gordon's behavior changes. In a horrifying trance, he wraps a vacuum cord around his neck and steps off a balcony, ending his life, another victim of the evil force tied to the cursed mirror. News of Father Gordon's tragic death reaches the Warrens, leaving them heartbroken. At his funeral, Judy gently touches the priest's casket, and suddenly, a vision flashes before her eyes. In it, she senses something pulling her toward Pennsylvania. When she asks where Father Gordon died, the answer confirms her fear: it was at the Smurl residence. Later that day, Ed, Lorraine, and Tony realize Judy is missing. They piece it together quickly: she's gone to the Smurl's house, determined to help them on her own. The three rush to Pennsylvania, where they find Judy safe but shaken. As they prepare to leave, Judy pleads with her parents to stay and help, insisting the family is in grave danger. Reluctantly, the Warrens agree. The fight isn't over yet. Over time, both families bond as they try to understand what they're dealing with. During a quiet moment, Tony confides in Ed that he left his police job after a violent incident. The trauma of it pushed him to propose to Judy so suddenly. Ed understands, seeing the young man's good intentions. Lorraine explores the Smurl home using her spiritual senses. In the dark corners of the house, she uncovers a horrifying past. A man once murdered his wife and her mother here with an axe. But Lorraine realizes these restless souls are merely puppets, controlled by something far older and far more powerful, a demonic entity using their pain as camouflage. Drawn by an unseen force, Judy wanders into the attic and discovers the cursed mirror, somehow still intact. When she looks into it, the reflection twists, and she sees Annabelle's monstrous form growing larger, chasing her through the corridors of the house. She screams for help and runs straight into her parents' arms. The moment Ed and Lorraine see the mirror, their faces pale. It's the same one from the night Judy was born. Ed explains everything to the Smurls, how that mirror nearly claimed their daughter's life decades ago. The connection is undeniable, and they agree it's time to end the curse once and for all. Ed and Jack Smurl try to carry the mirror out of the attic, but it resists. The frame shakes violently and slips free, crashing to the ground. Suddenly, the house erupts with supernatural chaos. Shadows attack from every direction. Lorraine is thrown into the basement and trapped, while Judy, now possessed, is drawn back upstairs, a rope in her hand, compelled to end her own life. Ed and Tony reach her just in time. They cut her down, crashing through the ceiling and landing hard below. Judy lies motionless as her parents call her name, tears in their eyes, until she gasps awake. But the entity isn't done. The mirror rises again, twisting and glowing, its reflection a swirling darkness. Ed clutches his Bible and begins to read holy verses aloud, trying to banish the demon. The pages ignite in flames as the mirror hurls itself forward, pinning Tony to the ground. Lorraine and Judy join hands with Ed, placing their palms against the glass. The demonic face screams within, trying to resist. With trembling voice, Judy whispers the same words her mother once taught her, "You're not there." The entity shrieks, the glass shatters into blinding light, and the mirror explodes into dust, breaking the curse once and for all. The Warrens, exhausted but alive, hold Judy close. The nightmare has ended, and for now, the evil has finally been silenced. Morning comes, and the air around the Smurl home finally feels peaceful. The Warrens say their goodbyes to the family, assuring them the nightmare is truly over. Before leaving, Tony helps Ed carry what's left of the shattered mirror, now powerless, and place it inside the Warrens' Museum of Cursed Artifacts, right beside the infamous Annabelle doll. Some time later, we see a brighter day, Judy and Tony's wedding. The ceremony is filled with joy, laughter, and familiar faces. Among the guests are families the Warrens have helped over the years: Carolyn and Cindy Perron, Peggy and Janet Hodgson, and David Glatzel, each one a reminder of the countless lives Ed and Lorraine have touched through their work. During the reception, Ed and Lorraine share a quiet dance under soft light. Lorraine gently smiles and tells Ed about a vision she had, one where they grow old together, surrounded by grandchildren, still helping people and protecting others from darkness. Ed looks into her eyes and says softly, "That sounds perfect." As their story fades out, a few closing words appear. The Smurl family continued living in their home for 3 more years, believing those dark experiences made their family bond even stronger. Ed and Lorraine Warren remained together for 50 years, partners in both life and faith. When Ed's health began to fail, Lorraine cared for him until his passing in 2006. She never remarried, and when she passed away in 2019, the two were finally reunited. Though many questioned their methods, the Warrens are still remembered as pioneers in paranormal research, devoted souls who faced darkness so that others could live in light. And that brings this haunting story to an end. Evil may fade, but its memories always linger. The Warrens proved once again that faith and love are stronger than any darkness. If you enjoyed this recap, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss more mysterious movie stories like this one. Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and never look into a mirror too long.